Hello everybody, welcome to another quick video. Now today, or should I say this evening, so have a quick chat about one of the sort of common myths that you get with Mark IV thirds is that you can't shoot in low light. Now, where we are now, I'm just looking over there, the sun's about to go down, so it's not the brightest. It doesn't work too bad on the video because the Osmo really does work quite well at sort of bringing the light up, but we are fairly dark. Got a fantastic belt of Venus over there, looking out over the coast. So what we're going to do, basically just up the road from sort of Spurn Point and go a bit of a wander, and basically more of a slideshow than anything, a couple of little chatty bits, but we'll take a wander down and go and have a look, see what you think. I think you might be surprised. So what's the basis of this myth about the low light and Mark IV thirds? Essentially it's because of the sensor size. Now physics dictates that if you've got a sensor a quarter essentially size of a full frame, its light gathering ability is not really going to be the same. Effectively what comes in, because you're basically shrinking down that amount to sort of a smaller area, should be less, which means, law of physics, you're going to sort of run out of light that's available to actually sort of bring into the lens, into the sensor. Now, that's all well and good, but what you've got to remember is these cameras are designed with that in mind. So, let's say we've got an f8 lens, which I can run with a 12-100. f8 on this lens, basically that aperture's the same as if it was on a full frame lens. It's still f8. The actual stop of the light that comes through is still the same. It's just the light gathering ability of the sensor to actually sort of pick that up and basically give you a result which equates to what you expect. Maybe in the older days the sensors weren't quite as good, but certainly with the OM1, that sensor, compared to my old 5D Mark IV, there's not much in it as far as sort of light sensitivity goes. And as far as sort of noise goes, I'm happy shooting with this up to ISO 6400. The key is to expose correctly. As long as you've actually got your exposures in the right sort of area, so you're not like dumping shadows and stuff like that, you won't have a problem at all. I mean, these sensors can bring so much back, the dynamic range is obscene. On paper, they're not as good, but in reality, when you're using them, they actually are. So let's say you've got your nice Mark IV thirds camera, you're stood out there, you're next to the full frame shooter, and you think of, he's probably going to get a better shot than me. Try it, you'll be quite surprised. Now, yes, the earlier sensors, maybe the EM1 Mark I, that 16 megapixel one, your dynamic range wasn't quite as good, and you couldn't bring quite as much back out of it. But certainly from the M1 Mark II, when they went into that side of it, basically that was Mark IV thirds coming of age. Now I can't comment on the Panasonic stuff, the Lumix bodies, because I don't really use them very much. But certainly with this generation that they're running now with the OM1s, it's astonishing what it can do. There's very limited amount of things that I can't shoot with this. Even to the point of going out there and shooting astro. Visually, you think that's the realm of full frame. It's not. These things can shoot astro like you would not believe. There's features in here which I would have loved to have on my full frame stuff, but just not available. They've really chopped these out to really make it more versatile and work around the limitations, which is the key to it. you're not sort of limiting yourself by sort of shifting down to a lovely lightweight system that frankly you can just chuck in the bag and go wherever you fancy. You're just enjoying doing what you've always loved doing with a camera system that supports you. Absolutely key to it. The camera will support you with everything that you're doing with it. So yeah, it's not a problem at all. Now, got a few shots back there looking up the beach towards essentially what is a really nice, pretty sunset, which ordinarily I would have been looking back at the sun, but I decided not to on this occasion. But pop a shot up now, one that actually sort of do a few grasses as we were walking up to the top end. Just show you, yeah, the level of dynamic range that you've got with it. But with what's going on out there at the moment, frankly it's quite dark. I mean, the mix of it, you've got a lovely belt of Venus, which is that sort of twirls you around a little bit. You've got that real sort of purple to blue field going down towards the horizon. That's essentially the shadow of the Earth being cast as the sun actually goes down, which is known as the belt of Venus. And it's really pretty. Essentially what it's doing here is making the sea look quite bright. So I'll grab a quick shot now, and essentially just like looking out that way. Yeah, I'm thinking square crop, and I think, yeah, that'll work quite nicely. A couple of little clouds over there, and sort of just pitched in. It'll basically look really, really minimalist scene, if I can say it, but I think it might work. So yeah, chucked up now for you. So when is it that you're going to struggle a little bit shooting Mach 4/3 in the lower light conditions? Essentially, if you're in very, very dark with very, very fast moving subjects, that's where the ability of full frame to really gather the light in will come into its own. I'm not saying that Mach 4/3 is the be all and end all as far as sort of that goes, but for the most part it works. But there are tiny little bits where really you're going to need to head towards full frame or bigger, just purely for physics, that light gathering ability. So say you're doing like event shooting where you've got lots of low light and fast moving subjects, odd lighting conditions, so it's very much sort of light dark, that's where the bigger sensor will really come into its own. Certainly, so the physics dictate that is going to help you out. But there is also another little sort of bit with it, is the newer sensors are more geared up to that sort of thing. I mean, my old 5D Classic, you tried doing the stuff I do with this in low light, you just don't get anything. All you get is just noise, and it just doesn't work. But the ability to actually sort of understand your camera's limitations and where you need to be to actually sort of get around those limitations is really key to it. So there we go, the sun's well and truly gone down, and all we're left with now, a bit of an afterglow. And like I say, it looks quite bright on this camera, but yeah, this one actually does lie quite well. It does a fantastic job in low light, but that's just the processing inside the Osmo for you. Just going to start taking a wander back down towards the van now. So a few shots as we're walking down, and just pop them up as a gallery now for you. But just like this, gives you a little bit of an insight into the fact that the myth of Mach 4/3 not being able to shoot in low light is exactly that. It is a myth. Except for in certain very specific circumstances, but for the most part it's something that's just peddled by the full frame manufacturers to try and push you away from another system. That's all there is to it, really. But there's the gallery. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give us a big thumbs up, and if you've really enjoyed it, click subscribe and see more of this sort of nonsense every week. But from what a dark Spurn Point, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Take care.
last rodeo written on my back window. I've never tried this before I met you. Here we go into the wildness unknown. You seem to shift what I thought that I knew. Kaleidoscope, both of us changing our pattern with every spin. Oh, kaleidoscope, glass bits and pieces from planets that I've never been. I am fixated on every new shape you're making. Turn brass ring, here I am aiming to please. Comets and asteroid blues cross between us. Fall, summer, spring, steady